So in this video we are going to revise the things that is called the electromagnetic induction. In the short, very quickly, electromagnetic induction. So electromagnetic induction is a phenomena of producing induced EMF and hence induced current in a closed circuit due to the change in the magnetic field or change in the magnetic flux linked with the closed circuit is known as the electromagnetic induction. Now here you have to know what is the magnetic flux. So magnetic flux will be same like electric flux. So magnetic flux will be phi b. Phi b is equal to b dot a, b vector dot a vector, or you can write b a cos theta. Now you can understand from here that when theta is equal to 0, then flux is maximum. When theta is equal to 90 degree, flux is equal to 0. So what is the SI unit of flux? SI unit of flux is Weber. Weber means W, you can write in this way, Weber, W-E-B-E-R, Weber, or you can write like 1 Weber is equal to Tesla into meter square. So Tesla into meter square, that is also 1 Weber. So you can write 1 Weber is equal to 1 Tesla into meter square. Now what is the dimension of flux? Dimension of flux will be m L square t to the power of minus 2 a to the power of minus 1. That is the dimension. Now first this one was observed by the and go to the next thing, that is called the Faraday's law or the Henry's experiment. Faraday's experiment or Henry's experiment. And in these experiments, like there is one coil and here there is a galvanometer and there is a north pole and south pole of a magnet. So if there is a motion, if this magnet, this is going inside the magnet, so there will be a deflection in the galvanometer. When it will come out from here, there will be also a deflection in the galvanometer. That means whenever there is a relative motion between a closed coil and a magnet, induced EMF is set up across the coil or induced current is flow in the coil. So large induced EMF or current is produced as if the if the coil relative motion of the coil between the magnet and the coil is large, and the induced current lasts as long as the magnet moves with respect to the coil. So that means if there is a motion is there, then that means what? The magnetic flux will cut. There is magnetic flux coming on from north pole to south pole. This magnetic flux will cut by this coil. So as it will cut, so that means there is relative motion between this. So EMF is produced in the coil and the galvanometer will deflect. But if I keep this one and keep inside this coil, so there will be no relative motion between the two things. So the EMF will not be produced and the galvanometer will not show any deflection. So from this experiment, so Michael Faraday gave two laws, and that is very important. That is called the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So you can write Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So what is the thing? It's a very important law. I tell you for the first law. So whenever the magnetic flux linked with a conductor or coil changes, an EMF is induced in it. And this induced EMF lasts as long as the change in the magnetic flux continues in the coils. Okay. Next one is the Faraday's law. Second law is the magnitude of induced EMF is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the conductor or coil. So from this second law, you can write that EMF from second law is directly proportional to the rate of change of flux. That means phi 2 minus phi 1 by the T2 minus T1, or you can multiply with the constant. So EMF is equal to K, then phi 2 minus phi 1 by T2 minus T1, or in the short form, if you write in differential form, that E is equal to K d phi by dt. Okay, so now if the coil is having n turns, so normally this proportional symbol k is equal to 1, k is equal to 1 we take, so E is equal to d phi by dt. Okay, so now if there are n number of turns are there, then EMF will be n d phi by dt. So that is said by the Faraday's law. So remember these two Faraday's laws of equations. One is whenever the magnetic flux linked with a coil or a conductor changes, EMF is induced in it. This EMF induced EMF will last as long as the change in magnetic flux continues in the coil. The next one is that the magnitude of the induced EMF is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the conductor or coil. Okay, so if you want to find out the current from here, then I will be how much? I will be E by R. That is the current. Now what is Lenz's law? Lenz's law. Lenz's law is the polarity of this induced EMF is such that it opposes the cause produced by it. So according to Lenz's law, E is equal to minus n d phi v by dt. So that is the Lenz's law. Okay. Now we'll come to the another thing that is called Fleming's right hand rule. So you can find out the direction of the induced current or EMF using the Fleming's right hand rule. I think you know this one already, started in class 10, but till I one more time and tell you that the direction of the induced EMF or current in a conductor moving in a magnetic field is determined by the Fleming's left hand rule. Okay, if the right hand is stretched such that the first fingers, like this way, first what I told you, if the right hand is stretched such that the first finger and the central finger and the thumbs are mutually perpendicular to each other, and the first finger points like this one, this finger is points the direction of the magnetic field, while the thumb points along the direction of the motion of the conductor and the direction of the induced EMF, and hence the current will be along the direction of the third finger, like this finger. Okay, so first, what is the direction of the field along the first finger, and direction of the motion along the thumb, and the direction of the EMF, that is along this finger. Okay, this is the magnetic field, this is the force, thumb is force, and this is the induced EMF or current. So that is the thing. Now we'll learn that how the EMF is produced. That is called the motional EMF. So EMF can be produced in different ways, like changing the strength of the magnetic field, you can produce EMF. Changing the orientation of the coil with respect to the magnetic field, you can produce EMF. And changing the area A of the coil, also you can produce EMF. So in this way, we will produce the EMF by changing the area, and which is known as the motional EMF. So motional EMF. So suppose here is one coil, and this is the magnetic field, and this is going in this direction, the v velocity. So this one is the L. Now if I displace this one in this position, if I come, so this is actually delta x, this one is delta x. Now we know that delta phi b, change in flux, is equal to minus b into change in area, that means L into delta x. Okay, so that is the thing. Now EMF is equal to minus delta phi b by delta t. So put this value, will get BL delta x by delta t. So you'll get delta x by delta t is equal to v. So you'll get BLV. So remember this one, the EMF produced due to the motional EMF is equal to BLV. So I will be how much? I will be E by R. E by R is equal to BLV by R. That is the current. So in this diagram you can see that this is the rod, This is a metallic rod which is rotating along this circular path. So how much will be area of this one? So you can learn this. This is the arc. Arc is equal to what? Arc is equal to L into alpha. So you know that theta is equal to arc is q dash by r. So q dash is equal to alpha into r. Now A is equal to half into base into height, that means L into alpha, that means half L square alpha. So phi is equal to BA cos 0 degree, that means B into A. So is equal to B into half L square alpha, that means half B L square alpha. So now we differentiate. E is equal to d phi by dt is equal to then half B L square d alpha by dt. So alpha by t means that is the angular speed. So half B L square omega. So remember this formula, very important, that the EMF between this point and this point is half B L square into omega. Okay. Now next one will come that is called the ED current. ED current, very important thing, ED current. So ED current is that the electrical, the induced circulating or circulating currents produced in a conductor itself due to the change in the magnetic flux linked with the conductor is known as the ED current. So suppose this is a metallic rod, object, solid object. Now it is placed in a magnetic field. So what will happen? Some kind of rotating magnetic current will be produced due to the change in so it will produce some kind of magnetic field along this direction. So that is known as the ED current. So it is having different type of applications, like it is used in an induction furnace, then speedometers, and also it is having advantages, also it is having some disadvantages also. So like so disadvantages are that it is production of ED current in a metallic block leads to the loss of electric energy in the form of heat, and the heat produced due to the ED current breaks the insulation because of the electrical machines and appliances. So the ED current may be cause unwanted damping effect. So to minimize the ED current, or we will not use the solid metallic bar, but we will make a slice of this one. Take a slice like this way, make a slice, and inside the slice then we will put some varnish type thing so that they will become laminated. Understand? So they will become laminated and they will rivette the whole things so that you can reduce the ED current. So remember, the ED current is produced due to the changing magnetic field, and it is a whirlpool of current or rotating current which will produce the magnetic field opposite direction which it was produced. Okay, and that is called the ED current. So now we will come to the next thing, that is called the self-induction and self-inductance. Self-induction. So what is self-induction? Self-induction is a property of a coil by virtue of which it opposes the growth or decay of the current flowing through it. That is called the self-induction. So suppose this is a coil here. Coil L. So what will happen? Some EMF will be produced in this coil, and this EMF, the direction of this EMF will be in the opposite direction. That means it will oppose the cause due to which it was produced. So self-inductance is also known as the inertia of electricity, as it opposes the growth or decay of the current. Okay. Suppose in case of in circuit the current is increasing, so it will not allow to increase the current, or some in the same circuit when you switch off the current is start to decrease and it is not allowed to decrease the current. So that is known as the self-inductance. So there is a relation also. So if the current I, suppose the current I is flowing in the circuit, current I, That means phi you can write phi is directly proportional to I. So phi is equal to L into I. This L is known as the coefficient of self inductance. So L is equal to coefficient of self inductance. So what is the EMF? EMF is E is equal to minus d phi by dt. So we put the value here, phi value. So we will minus L di by dt. So that is the EMF produced due to the self inductance. So remember the SI unit of self inductance is Henry. SI unit is Henry. HENRY. In short form you can write capital H. So unit is 1 volt ampere inverse into second. So remember this unit. And also you can write this one, Weber ampere to the power minus 1. So that is the self inductance. So dimension of the self inductance will be M1 L square T to the power minus 2 A to the power minus 2. That is the dimension of the self inductance. So now we will discuss about the self inductance of a solenoid. So self inductance of a solenoid. So remember this is a solenoid L and this I current is passing through this. Area of cross section of the solenoid is A, area of cross section. So what is the magnetic field produced in the solenoid? You know this one, B is equal to mu naught in I, and n is the small n is the number of turns per unit length. Small n is equal to number of turns per unit length. So write capital N is equal to n into L. Okay. So now we'll find out the flux produced in each turns. So flux produced in each turn is equal to B into A. That means P is what? Mu naught Ni into A. So phi is equal to what? Phi is equal to magnetic flux into area. So that means what? The mu naught N I A into N into L. That means total flux. There is flux produced in each turns, and this is the total number of turns. N is the total number of turns. Total number of turns. So this one. Now also you know that phi is equal to what? Also you know L into I. Equate these two things, you will get L is equal to, you can two things equate these two equations, is equal to mu naught N square A into L. We put the value of N, so you can write L is equal to mu naught N square by L into A. So that is the self inductance of a solenoid, long solenoid. Now grouping of solenoid, see this will offer some kind of resistance. So some not resistance, oppositions, like because it is the that is why in case of series L, that means in this way grouping of coils, so it's like a resistance. So if this one is L1 L2, so total L will be how much? L will be L1 plus L2 in series. In case of parallel, same like resistance L1 L2, so it will become 1 by L is equal to 1 by L1 plus 1 by L2. So that is the grouping of the coil. Now energy stored in an inductor, very very important, energy stored in an inductor. So E is equal to, so first you know that dW you know that it is called Q into dQ. Okay, because we know that W is equal to E into Q, because V is equal to Q by W. That is why here V is E, so W is equal to Q into E. If you write in differential form, dW is equal to E into dQ. Okay, and now we'll differentiate this one. So, or you can write not differentiate. We'll put the value of E here. So dW is equal to E means what? E is equal to L into di by dt. L into di by dt into dq. So you can write from here L di into dq by dt. So dq by dt means what? Dq by dt means I. So you can write L I into di. Now we'll integrate both the sides, integrate in this one. So you get W is equal to L will come out I square by 2, or you can write half L I square. So that is the energy stored in a inductor. Our next topic we are going to discuss about the mutual inductance. So mutual inductance is happened due to the two coils. Suppose there are two coils are there. One is, here is one coil, and here is another coil. And this is the AC, and this is the lamp here. So this is A and this one is B. So due to this effect of these two coils, so same thing will happen with the things which happens in the self-inductance also. The mutual inductance is the phenomena of inducing EMF in a coil due to the change of current with time in the nearby coil. So there are two coils involved. There are two coils. So both the coils, when they will offer some kind of increase or oppose the increase or decrease of current, so that is known as the mutual inductance. So same way we can write that if S is directly proportional to IP, so phi S is equal to M into IP. This M is called coefficient of mutual inductance. So now EMF will be produced. ES is equal to minus d phi S by dt write minus M dIP by dt. So that is the EMF produced due to the self-inductance. Now the very important derivation is that the mutual inductance of two long coaxial solenoid. So you can see in this picture that there are two solenoids are there. One is red color, another one is black color. In the red color, the I current is passing, but the black color there is no current. So length of the two solenoids are actually L. So first one is black color is S1, another red color is S2. And N1, N2 are the total number of turns in solenoid S1 and S2. So N1 and N2, N1 and N2 are the total number of turns in S1 and S2. So you can write N1 is equal to small n. Small n is the number of turn per unit length. Small n is equal to N1 by L, and N2 is equal to N2 by L. Now see what is the magnetic flux produced in this red color solenoid. Will be touch the second one. So the magnetic field inside the solenoid S1 is given by B1. So the things 1 is written, that means related to the first one. Okay, I'm sorry for change that thing. This will make it S1, this is as S1, and this one is S2. It will be good. S2. So now B1 is equal to mu naught N1 I1 is equal to mu naught N1 by L into I1. So then the magnetic flux linked with each turn of solenoid S2. So this magnetic field will touch the solenoid S2. So I will write magnetic magnetic flux linked with each turn of solenoid S2. Okay, magnetic flux B1A is equal to mu naught N1 by L I1 into A, and then total number of turns in N2 is the total number of turn is N2. So total flux will be how much? Total flux. So to multiply with this N2, that means you will get phi 2 is equal to not N1 N2 I1 A by L, total flux. So now we can compare this one with this. Phi 2 is equal to M12 into I1. What is M12? M12 is the mutual inductance of coil S2 with respect to S1. So from here we can compare, you can write M12, these two things you will compare. So you will write M12 is equal to mu naught N1 into A by L. Okay, so like this way M21 will be also the same. So M21 is the mutual inductance of coil S1 with respect to S2. M21 is equal to mu naught N1 into L into A. So you can write M12 is equal to M21 is equal to M. So this is the thing called the mutual inductance of two long coaxial solenoid. Right, the heading mutual inductance of two long coaxial. Remember, these are coaxial. Okay, coaxial solenoids. Okay, so now I go to the last topic of this chapter. So that is called the AC generator or dynamo. So this is the AC generator or dynamo. It is an electrical machine or device which is used to convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. Is known as AC generator. So you know these things already started in class 10. There are two poles magnets are there, and inside there is a coil armature, and there are two rings. They are called split rings, and carbon brushes are there. Here is a carbon brushes, and the output you will get. So question is that what type of output you will get? We know that the output will be sinusoidal wave, but why the sinusoidal wave is come? So that we have to see it works based on the Fleming's right hand rule, and it works on the principle of the electromagnetic induction. When the coil rotates in the uniform magnetic field, the induced EMF is produced in it. So from this here, from this picture, you can understand this one. The theta is equal to omega into t. Okay, omega is the angular rotation. You know, omega is equal to theta by t, so the theta is equal to omega into t. Now, how much is the flux will be produced along this direction? So flux will be phi b will be BA will be B cos theta. So theta is equal to omega t. So you can write B cos omega t. Now there are n number of turns are there. So you can write phi b will be equal to n into BA cos omega t. Or you can write phi b is equal to NBA cos omega t. Now you differentiate this one. EMF you have to find out. EMF is equal to minus d phi b by dt is equal to minus dy dt NBA cos omega t. So you can write minus NBA minus omega sin omega t, or you can write this one is EF is equal to NBA sin omega t. So this one is called the one omega is there, this is omega is there, one omega, NBA omega is known as the peak value of the EMF. So you can write E is equal to E naught sin omega t. So E naught will be equal to NBA omega. Okay, so you can understand this one. So current, if you want to find out current, I is equal to E naught by R sin omega t, or you can write I naught sin omega t. So the graph will become like this. So for the voltage graph will go in this way. Voltage and current is time, and the current will go a little bit small. This is the current. Like this the graph will be there. Okay. So you can just write down this one. So thank you very much.